Your soulmate is a beautiful thing. Today I'm going to be talking about wedding traditions in different countries. I'm sure most of us haven't been to a wedding of a different country, so I'm going to be talking about a few of their traditions. With myself getting married in March, that's why I decided to talk about this topic. I hope that after my speech, you guys will have learned something new about all the different traditions in a marriage. Some of the countries I'll be talking about today are China, Morocco, and Mexico. In China, the couples don't just pick a date and say, we're going to get married on this date. They have to talk to an astrologer, and then they have to go to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller finds a date according to their birth dates for their date. Also, the brides don't wear a typical white dress as you see here. Their traditional dress is like a bright red silk with gold embroidery. And also throughout the night, the bride is to change several times because in China, each family has like a different type of silk that they wear with different like embroidery designs. So the bride is to change several times to show the family and her guest her family traditions and where she comes from. On the day of the wedding, the groom and his groommen go to the bride's house and pick her up, but before they can go inside the house, her bridesmaids are outside waiting for them they try to negotiate money for the groomsmen to pay the bridesmaid for the groom to see the bride. So he has to go through all that deal before he can see her. And when he sees her, he gets to have tea with her parents, which, as you see there, the bride is the one who serves them the tea. So now that I've shared a few traditions in a Chinese wedding, I'm going to be talking about a Moroccan wedding. The Moroccans usually try to marry in the fall because that's when there's more harvest, which means a bigger feast for them to eat. Their typical wedding lasts 7 days. On the first 3 days, they are preparing parties for the men and for the women. They are preparing the bride, and they're just getting everything ready. On the 4th day, they finally get married. On the 5th and 6th day, they celebrate together, and then people throw parties for the bride and groom individually, and then they bring it together, and then they party together again. And on the 7th day, it's just a huge party, like sending the bride and groom off, and she does her big entrance, like you see there, and she's sitting on top of the customized cushion and all that stuff. Now that I've talked about China and Morocco, I'm going to talk about Mexico, which is where my grandparents are from, and some of the things that they want me to include in my wedding, but I really don't want to just because I think it's weird. So during the ceremony, the groom gives the bride 13 gold coins called aras, which symbolizes Christ and his apostles. You can see there, they each have like a different symbol, I don't know. And then after the vows, the priest wraps around a lasso, which is, you can see here, it's like a big rosary. I don't know if you guys have seen a rosary, but it's like a big rosary. And it's the figure 8, which symbolizes eternal unity. We're going to love each other forever and all that. And a lot of the typical foods served at a Mexican wedding are spicy meat, rice and beans, tortillas, salsa, the usual. The cake is made out of dried nuts, dried fruit, and is soaked in rum, which I think is gross. So I will not be having a traditional Mexican cake at my wedding. Also, the bride gets to pick like a godmother, which is called a madrina, and she helps the bride make arrangements. helps keep her organized, make plans, and she also is, if the bride is having a problem during her marriage, the bride goes to her for, I guess, guidance and just to help her. So I hope everyone has learned something new about wedding traditions. I personally think that it's a good idea to include a tradition in your wedding, such as a family tradition or even a culture tradition. Your wedding day is just one day, so cherish it and make it a special day for you and your loved one. It's your day, so make it unforgettable. Like Dr. Seuss says, you know you're in love and you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams.